Have you ever just felt completely, buried under all the information flying around?
Oh, absolutely. Information overload, right?
Totally. Or maybe you look at the tools we use every day, especially in learning, and feel like you're always playing catch up, like technology just keeps shifting under your feet.
It's a constant thing now, isn't it? Keeping pace is tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling I think pretty much everyone shares in this, well, super fast moving world. But the real question isn't just, how do we keep up? How do we just survive?
Right. It's bigger than that.
It is. It's how do we actually thrive?
Yeah.
How can we use these huge leaps in technology, like artificial intelligence? I mean, really use them to open up totally new ways of doing things.
That's the challenge, isn't it? And, well, it's also this massive opportunity we're starting to unpack. It's fundamentally changing how we even think about education.
Precisely. So today we're doing one of our deep dives into that really fascinating kind of dynamic space where AI meets education. We're going to peel back the layers a bit and explore how AI is being used, hopefully thoughtfully and responsibly, not just to make learning better for individuals.
Which is huge in itself.
Definitely, but also to genuinely support teachers in the incredible work they do and to build educational experiences that are truly personalized and, impactful for students.
And the material we're drawing on for this, it's pretty rich, actually. We've gathered a whole collection of innovative case studies, some new research findings, and really interesting discussions from educational conferences and seminars.
Where are these mainly coming from?
Primarily from leading institutions in places like Panama and Spain. Think organizations like the OEI, the Universidad Complutense de Madrid, Universidad de Alicante.
Okay, so real-world applications.
Exactly. It gives us this really practical, grounded view of how AI is being integrated, specifically in online learning. Covers everything from, what's actually working on the ground to the really critical ethical questions.
Which we absolutely have to talk about.
Yeah, we do. And also the evolving teaching strategies, the pedagogical insights that are shaping how teaching itself is changing.
So our mission today, let's be clear about it.
Yeah.
We want to carefully unpack how AI is being put into practice in education, but with this strong sense of responsibility already,
Foresight.
Yeah, foresight. We'll look at the actual benefits, the tangible ones,
Yeah.
for both students trying to navigate their learning and for the teachers guiding them. And this is really crucial for us.
The human element.
Yes. How the human element, especially the vital role of the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
remains absolutely central. Irreplaceable, really, in this whole transformation.
It's not about replacement at all.
No.
Yeah.
We'll look at specific examples, AI crafting, personalized learning paths, dissecting just mountains of student feedback, stuff humans couldn't possibly do at that scale. But the point is always to show this isn't about replacing people, it's about empowering them, giving them superpowers almost.
Well put. And, as we go through this, we'll also touch on how teachers are really positioned as the frontline learners in all this.
They have to be, right?
They do. They're the guides, helping students not just use AI, but to really own their knowledge, to make it theirs in a deep, meaningful way, ensuring that understanding sits with the student, not just, inside the machine.
Okay, so let's start with the foundations then. You can't build anything lasting without good foundations. Let's talk ground rules. So as AI starts weaving itself into, well, pretty much everything in education, it's becoming super clear that having solid rules, ethical guidelines, it's not just a nice to have.
No, it's essential. Absolutely paramount. It's the bedrock.
Exactly. And our sources, particularly that OEI document on innovative case studies, they show how this is being tackled head on with actual regulations being put in place.
And what's really interesting here, I think, is that these regulations, they're not just narrow, technical specs for how the AI should work.
Right, not just code requirements.
No, they're much broader. They're setting clear objectives, defining applicability for everyone in the university community. Students, faculty, admin, researchers, the whole lot.
Okay, so it's a system-wide view.
It is. It signals this holistic approach. It recognizes that bringing AI in isn't just like adding a new app to the classroom. It's about changing the whole educational ecosystem, really. And that needs everyone on board, understanding responsible use.
And right at the core of these regulations, you find these, well, non-negotiable principles. First up, ethics. Now, why is ethics so fundamental here? Especially with AI, which can feel a bit like a black box sometimes.
Well, think about it. Education is about developing people, right? Fostering critical thinking, shaping future citizens. If you don't have a strong ethical foundation,
Things could go wrong.
seriously wrong, AI could easily pick up and even amplify existing biases in society. Biases hidden in the data it learns from.
Like what kind of biases?
Well, imagine an AI tutor without really strong ethical checks, maybe subtly steering students from certain backgrounds away from, say, STEM fields, or giving less helpful feedback to certain groups. It could happen if we're not careful. Ethics isn't just a formality, it's the guardrail. It ensures fairness, accountability, making sure AI actually helps, not harms.
That's a really important point. Okay, then there's transparency. How does knowing how the AI works, or at least the basics of its logic, help build trust?
Transparency is huge for avoiding that black box feeling. When students and teachers have some idea of how the AI processes information, how it gets to its recommendations, or how it evaluates things,
You can trust it more.
they can trust it more, yes, but also, critically, understand its limits. It takes away some of the mystery. So if an AI suggests a certain learning path, knowing it's based on your specific progress, your patterns, not some secret sauce.
Makes you more likely to engage with it?
Exactly. You engage more actively with more confidence, and you can also question it, evaluate its suggestions. It keeps the human user in an active role, not just passively accepting whatever the machine says.
Okay, and what about social responsibility? That sounds like it goes beyond just the individual student.
It absolutely does. This
Yeah.
connects to the bigger picture. The societal impact of AI in education is massive. It's not just about boosting individual test scores. It's about making sure AI is used to build a well-informed, critical thinking society. That means actively using it to promote inclusion, maybe to help reduce educational gaps by offering tailored support where it's needed most.
So using AI for good, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Hmm.
And preparing students not just to use AI, but to interact with it responsibly, to critique it, maybe even help develop it ethically in their future lives. It's about making sure the tech contributes to collective progress, not just individual gain.
And then, the big one, privacy protection. This feels like ground zero, especially when you're talking personalized learning, student feedback, all that sensitive data.
Absolutely critical. Paramount, really. Safeguarding student and teacher data. It's non-negotiable. Think about it. Personalized learning paths, detailed analytics, qualitative feedback, maybe even biometric data.
That's all highly personal stuff.
Extremely personal. So regulations must demand strong encryption, strict access controls, crystal clear policies on how data is stored, for how long, when it's anonymized, how it can be used.
That was trust.
It's fundamental for trust, prevents misuse, exploitation, and keeps the focus where it should be on learning, not on, selling data or something.
Yeah.
Gives people control over their own educational information.
So, okay, you've got these principles,
Okay.
but principles are just words unless you enforce them,
Yeah.
right? The sources talk about this human in the loop for oversight, mentioning a dedicated AI technologies committee. What does a committee like that actually do?
That committee is basically the human oversight made real. It ensures AI actually serves the educational goals ethically and effectively.
Who would be on it?
Likely a mix, Faculty experts in ed tech, ethics, law, computer science, maybe even student reps. Their job is to supervise how these AI regulations are implemented and followed. It's not a one-off thing.
It's ongoing.
Absolutely ongoing, monitoring, assessing, adapting. They might review new AI tools before they're adopted, check for bias, look into data security risks, maybe investigate complaints if an AI seems unfair or isn't working right. They're the human filter, making sure AI stays aligned with the institution's values.
And beyond the committee, there are these operational and monitoring requirements. So AI systems aren't just switched on and left alone.
Definitely not. The sources mention practical rules about how AI systems should function day to day, how they need to be constantly monitored for accuracy, effectiveness, bias creeping in, and how they need regular, thorough impact assessments.
So there's accountability built in.
Continuous accountability, yes. It allows for adjustments as the tech changes, as we learn more, or if unexpected problems pop up. It's a dynamic framework designed to keep AI as a beneficial partner.
Now, this next bit is really key, especially thinking about the student and, well, the whole point of learning. The regulations specifically mention addressing misuse, ensuring academic integrity. There are actual sanctions for plagiarism or improper AI use.
Yes, and this hits right at the core of our focus, students needing to truly own the knowledge.
Right. Using AI as a tool, not a shortcut.
Exactly. And this raises a really important question for every student out there listening. Okay, AI helps you write that essay, solve that problem, finish that assignment, great. But what if, down the line, in your job, you don't have that AI?
Could you still do the work?
Could you still do the work? Could you explain the concepts yourself from scratch? That's the crucial point. The regulations are saying loud and clear, the goal is the students understanding their internalization of the material, not just spitting out an AI-generated answer.
That's such a critical distinction because, if your teacher asks you for an oral exam on that topic you used AI for,
Hmm.
or you're in a meeting, put on the spot, no tools available. Can you remember it? Can you retrieve it? Explain it in your own words. Can you think critically about it?
That's the real test.
That's what it means to make knowledge yours.
Mm.
Knowledge that lives inside you, not just on a server somewhere. So these rules, they keep us accountable for actually applying knowledge, even when AI is helping out. It's a partner, not a replacement for your brain.
Couldn't agree more. And these foundational rules, they aren't just red tape. They're crucial because they deliberately create this safe, responsible space for all the innovation we're about to talk about. They set the stage for AI to be a clear benefit, not a hidden risk in education. It's a huge moment of change, adaptation, and lots of communication needed.
Okay, so we've got the ethical framework, the need for human oversight firmly established. Now let's pivot to maybe the most critical piece of this puzzle, the teacher. The educator's role in this whole AI revolution.
Absolutely central.
It seems really clear from the sources, especially that research project in Panama, on AI's impact on teaching practice. Teachers are seen as absolutely pivotal, indispensable, really.
Yeah, the goal of that project was pretty ambitious. It aimed to foster a whole learning ecosystem using pedagogical design that really weaves AI into university programs.
We're not just dropping tools in, but rethinking the teaching itself.
Exactly. It highlights this proactive approach, AI adoption happening with teachers, not to them, making them central agents of change.
So how are teachers actually feeling about all this? The research sounds like it found a mix. Some excitement, some hesitation maybe. What were their initial reactions?
It really is a fascinating mix. On the one hand, the research clearly showed teachers generally see AI tools as genuinely useful for education. There's definite confidence that AI can significantly improve things, streamline processes.
So they see the potential.
They do. And they also acknowledge that the resources, the infrastructure, the technical tools, they're becoming more available. And crucially, there's this widespread willingness to try things out, to experiment.
That's encouraging, a readiness to adapt.
It is. That willingness to step into something new is really positive.
But change is never easy, right?
Mm-mm.
What kind of hurdles or concerns pop up? Is it just fear of the new, or are there more concrete obstacles?
It's usually a combination of things. Resistance can definitely come from just not being familiar with the tech, maybe not getting enough training, or, yeah, that understandable fear of the unknown.
Worries about jobs, feeling
Oops.
overwhelmed.
Sure, all of that. Feeling like their role is changing too fast. But then there are very practical barriers, too. Institutional ones, technical ones.
Like what?
Like maybe the university's Wi-Fi can't handle a new AI tool, or the hardware is outdated, or maybe there just aren't clear policies from the institution on how to use AI ethically and effectively in the classroom.
That would cause confusion.
Big time. Leads to confusion, reluctance. Even if a teacher is keen to try an AI grading tool, if the system crashes or there are no clear guidelines on student data, well, that enthusiasm fades pretty quickly.
And circling back to our earlier point, data security and privacy. That remains a huge worry for teachers, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Being on the front lines must make them hyper-aware.
Absolutely. That concern about student data security and privacy comes up again and again in the sources. It connects right back to those core ethical principles.
Because they handle so much sensitive info daily.
Exactly. Academic performance, personal struggles. Teachers are entrusted with all of it. So their concern isn't just valid, it's essential. It needs addressing with strong tech safeguards, clear communication, and ongoing training. That human trust factor between student and teacher, teacher and tech, it's vital.
This really highlights something crucial the research found. This gap, this low level of development in pedagogical strategies for using AI.
Yes, that's a key finding.
So it's not about the AI's power, it's about how teachers actually use it effectively in their teaching. It's not enough to just give them the tool.
Precisely. The big takeaway is that teachers need significant, targeted support to develop and use effective AI-integrated teaching strategies.
So the teacher in the loop idea again.
Absolutely reinforces it. It's not just giving them tech, it's equipping them with the knowledge, the strategies, the skills to really reshape their teaching. They need to know how to use AI to foster critical thinking, how to guide students ethically, how to assess learning when AI is involved. Maybe traditional tests aren't enough anymore.
So this tech shift forces a teaching shift.
It inherently does. It's a moment of profound pedagogical change requiring adaptation, lots of communication.
And it seems like institutions are trying to address this. The sources mention things like that big ED-IED UNICEF Congress in Panama
Yeah.
and specific workshops like Potenciando la Enseñanza con Inteligencia Artificial, empowering teaching with AI.
Yeah, those kinds of events, congresses, workshops, ongoing professional development are vital. They're platforms for sharing what works, for hands-on training, for building a community among educators.
So teachers can learn from each other.
Exactly. Share strategies for dealing with challenges, like AI hallucinations.
Where the AI makes stuff up.
Yeah, it generates plausible but wrong information. Or how to design assignments where students genuinely have to own the knowledge, develop deep understanding, not just get AI to write something superficial.
So teachers become the first learners here.
They really do. They're becoming experts in prompting AI effectively, guiding students to brainstorm with AI, review with AI, create with AI, but always keeping that critical judgment, mastering how to integrate AI to boost human thinking, not replace it.
So these insights from teachers are really driving how the tools themselves get developed, right?
Yeah.
Making sure they actually support learning, not just automate stuff.
That's the ideal feedback loop. Teacher experience informs tool development, which leads to better support for teachers and students. It's where theory meets practice.
Okay, this is where things get really, really interesting, I think. One of AI's biggest promises in education is moving way beyond that old one-size-fits-all model.
Towards truly personalized learning.
Exactly. Adaptive learning experiences. And the sources highlight some amazing projects like Learn and that Callum model from the University of Alicante. They show how transformative this can be.
Yeah, if you think about the old models, traditional is, well, everyone gets the same stuff, maybe some group support.
The way most of us learned.
Yeah, pretty much. Then there's the ideal, that master-apprentice model.
Right.
One-on-one, totally individual path, super effective, but...
Not really scalable, right? Too resource intensive.
Exactly. Too expensive, not enough mentors. And that's where something like Calm, the AI-enhanced model, comes in. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
How so?
It offers multiple paths available, so there's choice and tailoring. It provides a supervised individual path, so progress is tracked. And it uses hybrid individual accompaniment, a mix of AI guidance and human teacher support.
Ah, so AI makes that personalization scalable, but the human teacher is still involved.
Precisely. It strongly supports that human-in-the-loop idea and the need for students to be guided on their unique paths.
So what makes Calm work? What are the core principles behind this personalization?
Well, the sources lay out several key ones. There's interaction, that AI fosters dynamic engagement. It's not just passive reading. Then progression, the system adapts difficulty and pace based on how you are doing.
So it doesn't get too hard or too easy.
Right. And motivation, personalized challenges, instant feedback to keep you engaged, invested, avoids that frustration or boredom trap.
And it supports different types of learning too, doesn't it?
Yes, that's crucial. It aims to support cognitive learning facts, concepts, procedural learning skills, how-to stuff, and metacognitive learning, thinking about your own thinking, learning how to learn, self-regulation.
That metacognitive part sounds really important for owning the knowledge.
It is. Plus, there's reinforcement, tailored feedback, practice opportunities to make sure things really stick. It's this integrated approach that helps students truly internalize concepts, not just skim the surface, build that deep understanding across different ways of thinking and applying knowledge.
Okay, so let's peek under the hood.
Yeah.
The engine room, as you called it, this prediction phase de prediction, using deep learning. How does that actually work?
Yeah, the diagrams and the sources get quite detailed here. It's where sophisticated AI techniques come in to figure out these personalized pathways.
We're talking specific tech now,
Yeah.
like graph convolutional networks, GCNs, and gated recurrent units, GRUs. What do those actually do?
Okay, so GCNs, graph convolutional networks. Think of them as processing spatial information, but not space like distance, more like how things are connected in the curriculum map.
Relationships between concepts.
Exactly. A GCN can see how different learning activities, different concepts, different resources are all linked together. So if you're struggling with concept X in algebra, the GCN doesn't just see that struggle, it maps it back. What prerequisite knowledge might be shaky? What future topics depend on this?
So it understands the whole knowledge structure.
Precisely. It can suggest interventions that hit the root cause, not just the symptom. Builds this comprehensive map for each learner.
Okay, and the GRUs, They handle temporal information, like things over time.
Yes, gated recurrent units are great for sequential data. They track your learning progress over time. They're like the AI's memory for your journey.
So it remembers how I did last week.
Not just last week. It remembers clicks, pauses, struggles, successes over days, weeks, months. It sees patterns in your learning history, your habits. This temporal view helps it predict not just what you might do next, but potentially why, based on how you've been learning. It builds this dynamic picture of your learning trajectory.
Wow. Okay, so these networks crunch all this data, student characteristics, how they interact with activities, and they predict two main things: your likely score on the next activity and the time you'll probably take.
That's the core prediction, yes. And it sounds like an educator's dream, doesn't it?
It really does. And these predictions then feed into the selection phase.
Exactly. This is the adaptive part kicking in. Based on those predicted scores and times, the AI recommends the best next step for you. Maybe a different resource, maybe a specific challenge. It guides you along your individual path.
Making sure it's always at the right level, the right pace.
That's the goal. A continuous loop. Assess, predict, adapt. All designed to optimize learning, help you reach mastery, and really truly own that knowledge more deeply. It's proactive guidance.
It really shifts things, doesn't it? From just completing tasks to actively building understanding, because the path itself is supportive.
It fosters that deeper engagement. When the challenge is just right, when you get support exactly when you need it, you're more likely to actively construct your understanding, connect the dots, make the knowledge yours. It builds a much more solid, resilient foundation.
Makes total sense. Building brick by brick, but with a personalized blueprint for each student. Okay, so beyond prediction and personalization, AI is also changing how we understand student experiences, right? Through analyzing feedback and even fostering digital skills.
Yes, that's another huge area. Moving beyond just numbers to understand the qualitative side and preparing students for the digital world they live in.
So we've seen AI personalizing the learning journey, predicting performance. But it also gets into understanding the experience of learning, right? Analyzing qualitative stuff like student feedback at a scale humans just couldn't manage.
Absolutely. This is where AI really shines in making student voices heard, especially through analyzing things like open-ended survey comments. You know, those any final thoughts boxes.
Where students really say what they think.
Exactly. Unfiltered opinions, frustrations, delights, trying to manually read, categorize, and find patterns in tens of thousands of those comments. It's practically impossible.
Tens of thousands, really.
Yeah. The Universidad Complutense de Madrid example is striking. They processed nearly 29,000 comments one year, then almost 34,000 the next, then over 39,500 the year after that.
Wow, no way a human team could handle that effectively.
Not in any timely manner. AI makes it possible to turn all that unstructured text into actual intelligence.
But first, you have to clean the data up, right? This pre-processing step.
Crucial step. You have to prepare the raw text for the AI. It involves things like removing weird characters, making everything lowercase, taking out stop words, common words like the is a that don't carry much meaning.
Tidying it up.
Exactly. And doing lemmatization, reducing words to their root form, like running, ran, runs, all become run. This helps the AI focus on the core meaning and sentiment, not just word variations.
And the insights you get can be really specific, like broken down by department.
Yes, super granular. At a big place like UCM with 26 faculties, the AI can pinpoint if, say, students in humanities are unhappy with library hours, while engineering students love the labs. It's not just a general mood, it's actionable data for specific departments or even courses.
Finding real patterns.
Definitely. They even found that strong positive correlation, 0.641 Pearson coefficient between student scores and how they rated teaching items. AI can uncover these meaningful links hidden in all that qualitative data.
Okay, now this next idea sounds really advanced. Computing with words using a fuzzy linguistic approach. What's that about? Sounds fuzzy.
Huh. It is, but in a good way. It's based on this idea from Latvizadeh back in '99, moving from just crunching numbers to actually computing with words, understanding perceptions.
So getting beyond just 1 to 5 scales.
Precisely. Traditional AI struggles with nuance. What does somewhat satisfied really mean? The two-tuple fuzzy linguistic model allows a more human-like interpretation. Instead of just a number, it might represent feedback as, say, low satisfaction, 0.35, or high satisfaction, 0.45.
What does the number part mean? The 0.35.
That fractional part captures the degree of low or high. It reflects the subtlety, the vagueness of human language much better than a single crisp number. It's like capturing mostly satisfied or slightly unhappy.
Ah, the shades of gray.
Exactly. It lets AI interpret language with more nuance, almost like human intuition. And there are real frameworks using this, like that Holocene platform in Cuba, analyzing feedback from thousands of users across dozens of courses.
And how does this fuzzy insight turn into actual improvements?
They use processes to aggregate all this nuanced feedback, calculating collective satisfaction values for courses or events. Then comes the exploitation part, using these insights to create clear rankings of course attributes or whole courses.
So teachers know exactly where to focus.
Right. It gives direct feedback to the teacher in the loop. They can spot subtle issues, recurring problems, or even what's working really well before things escalate. It drives continuous improvement based on genuine student feelings.
That's powerful for improving courses. But AI is also helping with something else critical, digital skills, right? Digital fluency for everyone involved. Tell us about Escuela Dorita.
Yeah, Escuela Dorita, or Dorita School, is an AI application built to study how students and professors are actually developing key digital competencies using that Big Compy framework as a reference.
Because just using tech isn't enough anymore.
Not at all. Students need to master it, understand the ethics, use it creatively to solve problems. It's about building real digital literacy and citizenship.
What kind of competencies are we talking about, C1 to C9?
The sources give examples, like C3, critically evaluating information and sources, absolutely vital now with AI content everywhere.
Yeah.
C4, using digital tech effectively, responsibly for communication. C5, creating and modifying digital content.
Knowing about copyright, too.
Yes. C6, understanding copyright, licensing, attribution, super important when AI makes creation so easy. C7, managing risks, using tech safely, protecting data. And C8 and C9, using tech creatively to solve professional problems, those higher order skills.
So how does AI help make sense of all this data about digital skills? How does it give useful insights?
It uses something called linguistic summarization. The source calls it an intuitive, humanly coherent, and natural language-based tool for knowledge discovery. Basically, it boils down complex data into plain language statements.
Like an example.
A specific one from the Diarita data was, the majority of students who express very high general satisfaction with the course have experience as teachers.
Wow, that's really specific and easy to understand, not just numbers.
Exactly. It's human readable insight. The AI finds these relationships of evidence and emphasis. It might show, with data backing it up, that high satisfaction with, say, study guides and professor performance strongly led to high overall course satisfaction.
So it's finding the why behind the satisfaction.
Or behind the development of certain skills. It uncovers these influential factors. This gives educators really direct, impactful feedback to refine their teaching, their materials, their use of digital tools. It closes that loop between AI insight and human-led improvement.
These examples really drive home how AI isn't just assisting, it's genuinely transforming how we understand and deliver education, giving teachers these almost super insights.
Which in turn helps them guide students better, more personally, more proactively. It's this powerful cycle. AI provides the insight, the teacher uses their expertise and empathy to translate that into better learning, helping students really master the material.
And ultimately making sure students truly own that knowledge.
Right.
Like that it becomes part of them. Hashtag tag tag outro. Okay, so as we wrap up this, well, pretty deep dive into AI in education, let's just quickly pull together the main threads.
Yeah, let's recap.
We've seen how crucial AI is in setting up these robust, ethical learning environments, thanks to those regulations, principles like transparency, privacy.
Foundational stuff.
Exactly. And then its massive impact on teaching itself, supporting educators with insights they just wouldn't have otherwise. And of course, that revolutionary ability to personalize learning paths for every single student, moving beyond one size fits all.
And the big theme cutting across everything, I think, is that the human element is absolutely indispensable.
Cannot stress that enough.
Right. AI isn't replacing the teacher's touch, their empathy, their judgment. It's augmenting it. The sources scream, teacher in the loop, human in the loop. You need humans for the ethical oversight, the pedagogical creativity, interpreting the nuanced data AI gives us, fostering that critical thinking.
Which machines can't replicate.
Exactly. Teachers are the guides, absolutely essential for navigating this new territory.
Totally agree. And that brings us to this really profound point about the future, doesn't it? The teacher is actually becoming the first learner in all this.
They have to be.
They're learning right alongside the tech. becoming experts in prompting and designing assignments that leverage AI for deeper understanding, not just easy answers, guiding students to brainstorm with AI, review with AI.
While also navigating the pitfalls, like those AI hallucinations we talked about.
Right. Teachers have to lead by example, showing students how to use these powerful tools but still develop that critical thinking, that discernment, so they genuinely own the knowledge.
And that's where critical thinking becomes even more vital. Teachers create the space where students use AI as a discovery tool, but still cultivate that ability to understand deeply, evaluate critically, apply creatively on their own.
So that when you ask them, okay, no AI allowed now, can you explain this?
The answer is yes.
A confident yes. That ability to retrieve, analyze, explain without the digital crutch, that's the real mark of owning knowledge. And AI, maybe paradoxically, helps us cultivate that more effectively.
It does. It frees up time, provides insights, allows for deeper dives.
So it's not about letting AI write the final essay if that means you didn't learn anything. It's about using it as this incredible intellectual partner on the journey, but making sure the understanding, the knowledge, the ability, it ends up residing in you.
Exactly. It's a time of huge change, constant adaptation, lots of communication needed. But the promise is learning that's more personal, more insightful, more empowering.
It's about empowering humans to be better humans, using AI to deepen understanding and enrich experiences.
Well said.
So a final thought for everyone listening. As AI keeps evolving at this incredible pace, maybe think about not just what it can do for us in learning, but how it challenges us to redefine what knowing actually means. Is true knowledge just having instant access to facts? Or is it that deeper ability to understand, to question, to evaluate, and to apply creatively, whether you've got digital help at that moment or not?